Welcome to Baby's Birthday. Each show joins a mum-to-be and counts down to the birth of their baby, revealing all the drama, laughter and tears involved in giving birth. Because let's be honest, giving birth is never a walk in the park. To help chart each birth, this is the Baby's Birthday Clock. It's there to count down to each mum's due date. And once labour kicks off, the clock kicks in and times the birth so you know exactly how long each mum's been in labour, whether it's 2 hours or a whopping 20 hours. All the action of the birth is boiled down into a half-hour show. So, we'd better crack on.
I can't believe that I'm going to be holding a baby in an hour.
Today, 36-year-old Joanne is having her third baby, but this time she's going under the knife.
Who's done that?
Meet housewife Joanne Ramsden, married to Michael for 9 years, mother to Jack 5 and Madeline 2, and now expecting her third child.
We never really discussed how many children we wanted. It was only really once I had Jack that I thought I would love 3 children. You want to draw on there? Everybody's looking forward to the new arrival. The children are really looking forward to it. Jack keeps asking me if I have to go to hospital for any reason. He's, "Oh, Mummy, are we having our new baby today?" And Madeline's great. She's really looking forward to it as long as it's a boy, because she doesn't want another girl coming into the house. Yeah, you're looking forward to it? You want to take it for a walk in the pram?
Yeah.
Are you?
In my big one.
In your big pram? Michael's going to be in the delivery room with me. He has been a fantastic support through this pregnancy. As he keeps saying, it has taken him 3 attempts to get it right, but he has been fantastic.
And Joanne will need Michael's support, as this time she's having an elected C-section.
You don't know? I'm having a cesarean birth this time because after I had my little girl, my second baby, I had quite a few complications. I was in hospital quite a long time. I had a torn cervix and then I had a retained placenta as well, so I had quite a lot of hemorrhaging. If we didn't know that I could have had a section, then we wouldn't have risked it, because I nearly died when I had Madeline. We did literally think this is it, and we all said our goodbyes, and it was like, please look after my baby and please make sure you pick my children up from school at 3:30. It's something I'd always wanted to do, was to be at those school gates at 3:30 every day. Michael said, I just can't do that again, I've come so close to losing everything. So he is a bit apprehensive, but it's going to be different because it's a more controlled environment and whatever. But having said that, if somebody could guarantee I'd go into labour and I'd deliver and I'd have no hemorrhaging afterwards and everything would be fine, I would rather give birth than have a section, because it is the most amazing feeling, and that's why I wouldn't want to put people off it. I love being a mum, and you know, I've loved giving birth and I love it all, but this is my last one, and I'm actually, when they do the cesarean, at the same time they are going to sterilise me, so I do know it's going to be our last one. So I think it makes it, I'm perhaps a bit more excited now, really.
The morning of the operation has arrived, and in just 3 hours' time, Joanne will see her new baby.
I'm feeling quite excited this morning. I'm a little bit nervous as well. Watering the plants, and nobody has to do that for me while I'm not here. I got off to sleep okay last night, but then I woke up about 10 to 12 and I was starving, and I thought, thank goodness, because I wasn't allowed to eat anything from 12 o'clock. So I came downstairs and made myself some crackers and got a drink of water and sat at the kitchen table till bang on 12 o'clock, then put everything away. Thought I daren't eat anything else now. Right, should I phone my mum to speak to the children? Have you slept?
With the children staying at their mum's, Joanne phones for some last-minute words of comfort.
Right, did you have a good night's sleep at Grandma's? And are you looking forward to going to nursery? All right. Yeah. Right, well, not long now. All right, stop it. I'll see you in about 2 hours. All right, love you, Mum. Bye. Love to Dad. Bye. Bye. Oh, that's Mum blubbering now.
All you need, isn't it? Right, what else?
I think we're done now, shall we? Pack up.
Did you shave yesterday?
Joanne's friend Caroline is also her midwife and will be with her through every stage of the operation.
I know.
Some proper ticks.
Right, Joe, I'll leave you to put that on, and then what I'll do is I'll come and catheterise you and put your stockings on.
Right.
Joanne settles herself before the operation.
I'm feeling fine at the moment. I'm excited. I can't believe that I'm going to be holding a baby in an hour. That's a bit weird. I'm still more uptight about the recovery than I am about the actual operation, really. But we'll get there. We've got to get through it. We're here now. Now I'm on this ward and I hear the babies crying. I think, how have we got here again?
Just a little bit nervous, I suppose, but already excited as well now. Wasn't as excited the last few days, but I am now. Nearly there.
Excited about seeing me have an operation? Or about seeing your new baby?
Seeing the baby.
Joanne told me she was pregnant and asked me if I would be involved in the pregnancy. I know she had a really traumatic time last time, and just for her own psychologically, Joanne needed to have some sort of control over this pregnancy and labour, and we felt the best option for her was a section.
Definitely put me at ease, and she's always laughing, so we've had, we always have a good laugh through it. So yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
Still having a screen?
Yes.
Michael is told he won't be allowed in, as Joanne is having her spinal block.
Just because, in case there's any, again, if there's any problems.
Yeah, it was weird to be told I was going to be left outside, because I thought I'd be there all the way through, unaware of obviously what I'm going to miss, and thought I'd be there when she's having the injections and the prepping up and everything. So I'm not saying I felt like I was a little bit cheaty, but I just thought I'd be there all the way through.
By the time I was in hospital and going down to delivery, it was much more a case of I was going to an operating theatre rather than I was going down to the delivery suite. My legs are starting to shake a little bit.
Joanne arrives at the operating theatre for her anaesthetic.
Let's go around here, Joe.
Facing that bit.
When I got into the operating theatre, I did remember being there before, and it did seem a nicer experience and a much more controlled experience being there this time. There wasn't the panic around. But then I just started to focus on, I've got to have this spinal, what if I move when this happens, what's going to hurt me and what's not really.
Joanne is having a spinal block, which numbs the area where the surgeon will be making the incision.
Just going to take this paper dressing. Take your time.
After they put the spinal block in, they then squirted cold water on me to find out where, and had to say whether it was colder or where it was cold, where it felt warmer, so they could see where the spinal was working. And that made me panic because I kept thinking, no, I can still feel it, and it seemed to be taking longer than it should.
After an anxious wait, Michael is finally allowed into the theatre.
When I walked in, everybody was very quiet. I didn't know what was going on, and the anaesthetist had his back to me, and there's a chair behind him, which I presume that's where I was going to sit. But nobody moved, nobody looked at me, nobody spoke, and I just thought, oh my God, something's not quite right here.
Coming up, Michael's worries turn to joy.
Okay, you ready for this baby now then?
Oh my Lord.
Welcome back to Baby's birthday. Joanne Ramsden is having her third child by cesarean. Her husband Michael has just been allowed into theatre, and she's just waiting for the anaesthetic to take hold.
Eventually sat down, and the doctor looked like he was pinching. He was actually pinching, pulling on the skin and pinching it. Can you feel this? And they were trying to say, I can't remember now what they're trying to say. Does it feel like this or does it feel like that? And obviously they were waiting for that moment until she couldn't actually feel anything.
I remember them putting the knife on me to see if I could feel that, and I said I could. And then at that point, I think they were getting a bit like, well, this should be working by now. And the anaesthetist then said to me, right, if this doesn't work this time, then we're going to have to give you general anaesthetic. And miraculously, all of a sudden, couldn't feel a thing.
Now the anaesthetic is working, the surgeon can begin the operation.
When they'd cut me open, it was like a release on my stomach, the pressure on my stomach, and then I could feel this pushing. I remember feeling quite a heavy pushing and tugging in my stomach, and it wasn't painful at all, but it was a strange sensation.
I've had operations myself, so I'm not squeamish about that, but I didn't know completely how Joanne would be. Obviously she wasn't looking, she couldn't see, whereas I had the option, if I wanted to have a quick peek.
The surgeon makes an incision along the bikini line, and the second incision will go through to the uterus.
It just felt as though there was somebody pulling lots of knots around your stomach, and lumps and bumps around your stomach. And then they gave this big push down, and you think, oh, and at one point I think I almost shouted out, and then said, well, it didn't hurt, it didn't, you know, and I thought, oh, I ought to apologise because I don't want them to think they've hurt me here, because they haven't. It was just, oh, what was that really? Just in a way like pulling a cork out for a bottle of wine, but that might put me off a bottle of wine in the future.
I was sort of concentrating on Joanne. I wasn't having a look to see what he was doing. So it was only when he was trying to warn us to get my camera ready.
I just remember him saying, right, is somebody ready to take this baby now?
Okay, you ready for this baby now then?
Seconds later, he said, right, we're ready, get your camera ready type of thing, and that was it. He lifted the baby out.
Here he comes, little baby.
In just 2.5 minutes, a beautiful baby boy is born, named Charlie.
The next thing, the baby was there, and I was taking a quick picture as he's lifted it over the top. You know, I wasn't really prepared for the speed of it all.
Before, when I've had the other two, they've always been taken and washed before I've, you know, wrapped up and whatever. And when I first saw him, I didn't know how I was going to react to that because I'm quite squeamish. And I thought, oh, dare I look at this baby? And I didn't really want to focus on him too much because I thought, you know, he was still attached, I think, at that stage. He still had the umbilical cord on, and I wasn't quite sure whether I would, you know, throw up or not. And I looked at him and I was surprised when I saw him how I didn't feel repulsed by him. I did think, oh yeah, you know, that it all seemed quite natural.
Congratulations, well done.
Move the table onto your right side.
Joanne had suspected all the way through it was a boy. I thought it was a boy. If it was going to come out as a girl, it would have been a little bit of a shock.
I was delighted that it was a boy. I would have been delighted if it was a girl. You know, it really didn't matter, but it's one of those things that I can't imagine now what it would be like if it had been a girl, really. It was important to have skin to skin. It was important to see him and touch him and feel him, but all this operation was still going on, and I didn't feel I couldn't really give him a big hug or a big cuddle because I'd got all these gowns on and the screen was up. I didn't want to knock the screen.
While Joanne enjoys skin-on-skin contact with Charlie, the surgeon proceeds with the longest part of the operation, stitching her up. He will also at this point sterilise Joanne.
Curve 6.
I didn't know beforehand whether I would have a look to see what was going on, but I thought, well, no, I'll not look. Then you sort of tempted to have a look. So there was a little bit where I sort of glanced down to see what they were doing. I just couldn't get this picture of this huge clamp just like pulling the skin back, which wasn't nice to see, I must admit, but I didn't tell Joanne until afterwards. But no, that I'm glad I saw it, but in a way I probably shouldn't have looked. It's probably tarnished it a little bit, but it's nice to know that I've seen like a big open wound. But it was an awful sight, awful sight. To hold your baby for the first time is a remarkable feeling, definitely. I'm surprised how quick it's been, which is obviously a plus. Didn't really matter as long as everything was fine, and the doctor's just been great. Just confirmed the centre's complete and everything's fine. And she wasn't in any discomfort, so it's good.
Half an hour old.
It was only when we were in that position and John was in the bed outside the theatre that again it came back to me that we'd been here before. So whilst it was a relief, it was still, oh my God, a bit of a flashback. It's not all over with yet. So it was sort of mixed feelings in a way. I knew we weren't out the woods completely, but it was nice that that bit went well and now we've got all this in front of us, you know.
He just feels lovely and I can't wait for him to see his brother and sister. The children were so excited when they first came in to see him and I was really pleased about that.
They were like skipping down the corridor and they just couldn't wait. You can't beat the feeling, I must admit, but living it through the children's eyes is something else.
Is your baby coming down?
He has come out, yes.
Where is he?
Right.
Yeah.
Where is your baby?
realise you'd be up on your feet.
Yeah.
Where is your baby?
He's in here, do you want to see him? He's your baby too.
Feeling all right?
Yeah.
Sure. Where is he?
What do you think? Do you want to keep him?
What do you think, Matthew?
Yeah.
They just accepted him as part of the family and he's just there, and touch wood at the moment there doesn't seem to be any jealousy there, and they just take him as part of the family already. It's amazing, really.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
He just sat there, isn't he? Lying down, asleep.
Alright, darling. Do you like him?
Happy?
I had him at 10 o'clock in the morning. Whilst I loved him as I did the other two, there wasn't that overwhelming feeling. And I would say I looked at him at 2 o'clock in the morning and it just all clicked. And I suddenly felt this gush of love and, and yes, he was my baby. I've got a perfectly healthy baby and I'm doing really well. And I think it has really helped Michael this time as well, which, is a big, big bonus. Did you know he'd have hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
It's now been a week since Joanne's cesarean, and with the 6 weeks recovering period, Joanne is finding the process a little frustrating.
It is a major operation, you've got to recover from it, and you need to give yourself that rest, but that's so frustrating for me, particularly when I've now got 3 children that I want to look after myself and I don't want somebody else coming in to do it for me.
Oh, I can't reach him.
I think she's coped really well because there's been times just before and just afterwards where she must have been thinking so much about what happened and so nervous that I think she's done really well. Especially afterwards where she's had the operation, the stitches must be sore, she's breastfeeding, she's getting up in the night, lack of sleep, etc. But she's just going through it as if nothing's going to stop her.
What do you like best about having a brother? A baby brother?
I can't remember.
You can't remember. What about you, Jack? What's the best bit about having a baby brother?
I love him.
You love him, that's nice. The experience of giving birth naturally I don't think you can ever replace that. I don't feel I've been robbed of that because I've experienced it. And if I've not had the complications after having Madeline, then I would say, you know, yeah, giving birth naturally is a far nicer experience.
That's just what I wanted.
I don't regret being sterilised because now I know I can't backtrack, which is good. I mean, I felt with all of them that you want to cherish every moment of them being small because it doesn't last long. But I know when he first grows out of those first baby grows and, you know, he grows out of his baby bath and things like that and out of his crib, that they will be upsetting because I know it is my last. I don't want 4 children. You know, I'm happy. I feel my family's complete. I do feel quite liberated almost by feeling like that.
Oh, that one. So
And how are Jack and Madeline finding their new baby brother?
Both of them are really pleased, and both are really pleased that it's a boy as well. We thought that Madeline would be wanting to hold him all the time, wanting to feed him, do this and the other, but it's been sort of the other way around. Jack's been the one that's been kissing him and saying he loves him and wanting to hold him.
I've got a really good one.
Whenever they would come through the door when they've been out, they want to see Charlie before they want to see anybody else. Madeline refers to him as the baby rather than Charlie, and I have to keep reminding her that it does have a name.
I mean, it's great to see the kids you're wanting, say, to be him to be part of the family, and you know, it's just fabulous. You can't beat it.
2 weeks before his original due date, Charlie Ramsden was born after an elected C-section and has now made Joanne's family life complete.